Guys, Tom Story from Tom's Generation X. This is just a laid back video for those who know me. So, yeah, no major context. See, I've got the corny leopard thing. Is it leopard, whatever? Anyway, so it's the day after the big day. I don't normally make videos on days like today because I tend to be quite either flat, emotional. I've been a mixture of all those and sore. I am sore, although I will say my fitness is up. All this walking I've been doing is working because I didn't get puffed out once. But yeah, I did fall over. And when is it? When do I not? So before I get onto anything else, I was actually just wondering. I've talked to people who are, when I was working with Tommy, for instance, when we go and do these events, I used to feel, like I say, emotional the next day, or it was like a come down, if that's the only word that you could sort of use, a weird day, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. It's a strange day the next day for me. Some people hide it better than others, but I started asking other people in the team and that, do you have this, or is it just me? And they'd say no, it happens to me as well. So then I started asking creators. Now obviously I haven't managed to ask all creators, but the ones that I did ask, when I said to them, do you have a strange day the next day? Whether they show it or not, all of the ones that I managed to ask said, yeah, absolutely. The next day is you're either replaying things back in your mind. It's like total recall though. Like it's not like normal. It's hard to explain. Anyway, so I was thinking, if they get it and they get it, what about you guys? So I've always assumed it's because we're doing multiple different jobs, but I'm not starting to think it's got nothing to do with it. When you go to something, especially like this, that's made history, people watching it literally all around the world. I think they were even watching it in China. It's been watched all around the world. When that happens, if you attended this demo yesterday, or if you attend demos, do you feel, if you're just attending and you're not doing any job, do you feel weird the day after, or is it just the people that are doing the jobs? I can't believe it. I kind of think maybe some of you out there must feel the same. I'd be really curious to know. So if you feel like that, let me know, and you don't feel too embarrassed, let me know, because I don't think it's just. I know it's not just me, but I don't. It can't just be a certain set group of people. There must be something about the event that takes a certain something out of you or puts it in you. I'm not sure which way around it goes. So let me address the negative first of yesterday. I'm not going to give you a full debrief or anything like that. I said I don't normally make videos on days like today. What I'm going to do, the only reason I'm really turning this on today is to tell you that I don't know if I may or may not take a break, um, for good reasons. But we'll get to that in a second. So the negative first. One, at the end of the day, there was trouble, wasn't there? I think it was after I'd gone or when I was leaving. I'm not sure, but that was the Whitehall end, and I wasn't there. Um, I have. It's hard to have an opinion on it because I wasn't there. I just remembered thinking, because I didn't know what had happened, this is going to break Tommy's heart because we've got out to the whole world. Elon must be in there. And no, that's one thing I wanted to say. I put out videos before this saying, is Tommy. I fit it as an idea, but I said, is it is was he saying too much not to cause trouble? Not because I wanted trouble, but I was saying maybe we don't. People don't need to hear that because they don't cause trouble, and that yeah, I offered the idea that perhaps the underlying threat would be a good thing. After yesterday, I take that back. I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong. It's not that I was in the wrong. It was an idea. It wasn't an opinion. It was an idea. The idea was shit because what I saw yesterday from only 1% of the people, what I saw was yeah, everything that he'd asked for them not to do. So, and I realized that yeah, no, I get why he did what he did. I get why he knew the whole world would be watching, literally. And I think the top views was 2.5 million on live at one point. I don't know on where, maybe it was news stations or whatever, but 2.5 million I think was the maximum number on wherever it was watching around the world. This was a global event. This was a global event, and people know our country's fighting for free speech at the moment, or as in the people are. So it was mega important. So all I can say about the trouble in Whitehall is because I wasn't there and I haven't seen any footage of it, I have no opinion. I've seen other people break it down and they've got opinion that, they were too close. I don't know about that. Somebody said, I saw someone say they shouldn't be allowed to demonstrate on the same days as us, but unfortunately, that's is part of the law of being able to demonstrate, is they're allowed to do their demonstration as well. Um, I wasn't there, so I can't really judge that, but I'm disappointed that there was violence, period, simply because I can imagine that breaking Tommy's heart a bit. Um, where I was, and again, I just want to make this clear, 99% of people were a range of all different ages. They were not drinking, and if they were moderate. They were helpful, friendly, um, even when things were getting tight and people were getting squashed and a bit grumpy, people were saying to each other, "Don't get wound up." It's remember, we're all on the same side. People were really, really good and helpful to each other. And even though we're trying to get past each other, we're helping each other get past each other. It was a really, really good atmosphere, and everybody was really good. It was 1% of people. It probably wasn't even 1%. But the reason I turned off and left when I did without a goodbye or anything was because I've done something I have never done in this movement, and that's I lowered the camera to avoid things being seen. And I always said I would show whatever happens, but but I wasn't going to let 25 people ruin it for the thousands that were around them, make all of us look bad when it was about 25 people. Honestly, if that. They got so, there was no, the police were doing their job, so they were busy where I was. They were too busy with the road nap to be giving us any shit. So the things that people were doing, they were letting go. They weren't giving us no shit at all where I was. And when we tried to get out, we thought they were going to try to stop us getting out, but just be awkward. They weren't. But what happened was people were getting on top of certain structures, but some of them were unsafe. And again, our guys, sober guys, were saying, guys, understand why you're up there, but step back because you're on a structure where there's people below you, and if that gives, you're going to kill them. So, like, there was people really trying to keep safety without causing a fight. So it was really, really good. And then you see these people that have just got too drunk. There's no opposition from the left coming at us. There's no police coming at us. So there's no reason to kick off. Everybody was having a really good time and really appreciating this. We were going around the world, historic, and you're there. And these people were smashing stuff up. And they were leaving the ground like the left leave. If you've ever been to a demo where the left are, you'll always see they leave just shit everywhere. These people were doing that. Other people, good people, were cleaning up after them. Our lot were cleaning up after these few people that came with these selfish, I don't even know that they planned to come like it. I just think that they drunk so much that they would have fought a lamppost in the end. And that's pretty much what they were doing. Lampposts, toilets, stuff like that. And again, we're talking about a few people, and they weren't even nasty. They were just laughing like I don't know, just idiots. And so that was the point when I put the camera down, because I also realised that there was a potential, because they were at both sides, and I realised there was a potential for trouble. And there was no way I was going to allow my name to be associated with trouble when I had gone there under the promise of not being involved in trouble. And so as I started to go on try to get out, I noticed other people were following me. And I said, all right, you okay? And they all said, this is heading for something. As it was, I don't think it did. I think probably those people, or those people would have been left behind. I don't know what became of them because I got out of it. But I didn't hear of any trouble actually happening there. But they caused damage and that, and that will be associated to us. And I don't like that because, again, you're talking about, in that case, in where I was, not even 1%. You're talking about 25 people out of thousands. But, yeah, what 25 people can do when they're being really belligerent is quite a lot of damage. So that's a negative, and shame on them, shame on them for just it was violence and damage for the sake of violence and damage. There was nothing that even tripped it off. And as I said, as for anything else that happened anywhere else, I can't have an opinion on it because I wasn't there. So that's the bad side. The good side is it was like being back in the 80s when people were patriotic about, say, like the Falklands War or whatever. It was people of all ages. It was people, it was people at 80 years old there. There was people young with their kids. There was all kinds of people there. And I've had people tell me that today, oh, there's people with bricks and that. No, they weren't. They were carrying flags. Their hands were full with flags. Even I was wearing a flag yesterday. Even though I was on camera, I was still wearing one. There was so many flags. I haven't seen that many flags probably since the 80s. It was amazing. Atmosphere was really, really good. People, even though we were cramped together, people were helping each other. They were facilitating each other moving, even though you could barely move. People were trying their best to help each other out. It was a real communal spirit. Um, I knew they were hiding something, as in Tommy and all that. And then when Elon came on screen, I was like, there it is. Hey, baby, that's what they've been hiding. And that was cool. I'm still a bit scratching my head as to why the MSM covered it. Were they tipped off? Is it that simple? Do they realise that they're on the losing side? Or is there more nefarious reason? I don't know. But they covered it. First time ever since I've been doing this. BBC and Sky covered it. So the question is why? Why this one? Did they know Elon was going to be behind this? I don't know. But somehow, some way. And then I hear we had our own helicopter and everything else as well, which is pretty cool. So, and even the rain and that couldn't drown anyone's sorrows. It was really good. I didn't go to live stream yesterday, so my live stream was awful because it wasn't really set up for that. It was just kind of last minute thing. But it was, for me, it was more about going, keeping a promise, and being part of history. And thanks to Min, I was, and yeah, I'm really glad I was part of that history making. The British people really did stand up. And as I said the other day, this needs to be we say it every big demo, but this wasn't a big demo. This was a worldwide global coverage of something so important. And therefore, when I say that we mustn't let this be an end to something, I'm not just saying it as a cool thing to say that sounds profound. We really do need to use this as a springboard and not let it go. And not go, oh, we've done our bit now. Because we haven't. We've only got the ball rolling. Now we've got to get that free speech back. Now we've got to get Starmer out. Now we've got to do a lot of things. And as I said, stealing from Star Wars the other day, the little acts of insurrection in terms of your free speech. See, people think we're violent. We're not. But what we do need to do is step up with our free speech more and more. And like I said the other day, share the risk. I tagged every video for 7 years, share the risk, for a reason. They can't arrest us all. And we stand together, and they'd be arresting us for immoral reasons. So the more of us using that free speech, the better. So it's like this has really shown the world that the silent majority is now getting sick of being silent. The silent majority is sick of being silent, and that's what you saw yesterday. We said there was a silent majority, but that's hard to prove while they're staying silent. The people that have tried to stay out of it have had enough. The people that have tried even the people that are on our side but didn't want to come to these things, didn't want to get involved, they're coming because they've had enough. They realise now there's no racism, there's no violence, all there is labels that get thrown on top of subjects they don't want to talk about, and everyone's aware of it now. Even more so after yesterday. They were aware of it beforehand, but this will have woken even more people up. And these labels that, as they said, they've been using for 20 years, that was quite an accurate number. They're failing. Yesterday was a big fail for the far left. They're failing. And we are now being seen for what we are. The people of this country. the people of this country who should have rights, who should have the rights, the protection of our own country, and the right to be safe in our own country, and the right to the free speech that's supposed to come with our country, and to be safe from foreign invaders. Remember, domestic or foreign. Yeah? So, I'm proud of everybody for what they did, and I'm also, like I say, this is where we need to springboard to, is to making a difference, both voting patterns, but also, everyday free speech. Don't be so scared to put stuff out online. I know you could be the sacrificial lamb, but so could I. So could any of us. But the more of us do it, the less chance there is of them doing it. They only arrest people and put them in jail to make examples of them, to scare you. So like I say, if we all fight for our free speech, they won't be able to win unless they literally cut X off, for instance. Because if they can't stop us, they'll then have to try and stop the platform. That might be a little bit difficult for them. So you see what I'm saying? So I know this is turning into waffle. This is why I don't record videos on days like today. There's too much going around in there, and not the right thing is coming out. So I'll just say, those not so random acts of insurrection, free speech, and also again getting involved in politics in a way that helps people. There's so many different things that can be taken from this, but also as well, understand now the countries around the world understand our plight. They know what's going on here anyway. Again, our free speech is now rated down next to Nigeria's, so people know what's happening here, and the world got to see it. I'm so glad the world got to see it. The only other thing I can think, and I'm not sure, the only other thing I can think is why the MSM might have covered this. Maybe the MSM realised that Starmer's attack on free speech will affect the press. It will affect the press sooner or later. Maybe they can see what's coming, and maybe they realised what all people on the left have to realise sooner or later. It doesn't matter if you're on the left and you're an ally of the left. You get too big for your boots, or if you get too far ahead, the left will remind you that you're a socialist, as in they will slap you down to size. Because nobody is remember communism, nobody's allowed to be richer, nobody's allowed to be better than anyone else. And you've seen this when the left take down their figures on their own side that dare to speak out. So it made me wonder if the MSM was trying to fight for its own free speech. If it's because they ain't doing it for the good of people, but maybe they covered it because they're trying to defend their own free speech, and it was self-serving. That I could believe. Beyond that, all of my other ideas are quite nefarious. So if they're doing it to defend themselves, then that would make sense to me. I'm not saying that's a fact. I'm speculating. But if that was what it was, I'd be okay with that, because they are self-serving bastards. But at least it'd be an answer I could understand. Beyond that, I'm still very, very suspicious as to why they did it. But that would be a reasonable answer. And I think they must have been tipped off about Elon and stuff like that. To just do that coverage the way they did. I think they must have been tipped off. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just shows organisation. So obviously, like I said, I wasn't there to live stream yesterday. So this is where I'm really going back to my base audience now. Guys, like I say, I don't make decisions on days like today because it's the day after and I'm emotional and all the rest of it. But obviously yesterday wasn't a serious attempt at a proper live stream. But nevertheless, it was shit, right? And I've said you've got no money, blah, 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 and boring, all the same stuff. So I've been sitting thinking, even when I was at the demo yesterday, I was thinking about the future. And I was thinking, you know what? I could get Starlink mobile if I did one of a couple of things. If I save up, get the equipment, I could then, what I found out is you can buy Starlink mobile for a month and then not use it. So I literally, because it's very expensive, it's like minimum £50 a month. So as long as I can get the equipment, which is about 330 odd quid, I'll save up for that for the rest of 2025. I can get that equipment, which means that, and you don't have to have a 2-year contract or whatever, which means that I could actually just go, right, we're going to do so and so this month. There's going to be 2 demos. I'll pay for that, and I can pay for it. And I found out now that that is doable. So I'm going to try and save to get that Starlink thing. Otherwise, it's a cellular bonder, which is over £1,000 for the cheapest one, and they're not actually as good. So I'm thinking I could afford Starlink. I just need to get that box. So that's one of the things I'm thinking about doing. But in order to do all of this, what I would need to do is take my foot off the gas with other things. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is that that's a possible future where if I go back to live streaming, I'm never going to go back to live streaming unless I'm as good as I used to be. Starlink may be the answer that I thought I couldn't afford, but now I'm seeing that I won't have to pay for it over a course of 2 years. I could, if I can get that, as long as I can get the fucking the equipment. But I could save up for that. Like I said, it's not beyond my ability to buy. So that's one section. If I decide to go streaming again like I used to, then Starlink is a possibility. So that could be streaming. Then there's the other side, the AI stuff. So I started a second channel to try and make up for the fact the first one was censored and demonetized. It seemed like a good idea, and now what's happened is a nightmare. My big channel, which is supposed to be the one that people are leaving, is growing. It's growing. So the censored channel is growing. The other channel is growing as well. My little channel is growing as well. Where I've got deep fakes and that on there, and it's a new channel, people are misidentifying things and thinking that everything's a deep fake on there, even though anything deep fake on there is terribly done, deliberately, comedic, and usually tells you that it's a deep fake. But I've put other videos up there and people have accused them of being deepfakes just simply because I've released other deepfakes on the channel. It's like, Jesus Christ, my deepfakes are so obvious and they call it AI. No, it's not AI. I'm using deepfake technology, which is not AI. So, yeah, and people confuse it as an AI channel. But more importantly, like the demo stuff and that, people didn't even look to that channel. They looked to my main channel like they always do. So it's my plan's not working, guys. What I've done is I've split my audience between 2 channels now. Sometimes they don't go to my second one at all. Other times they go to my second one exclusively. And then the numbers are all over the place. And now I'm getting higher numbers on some of the videos on the second channel. I'm getting higher numbers again on the videos on this channel, which are, it's taken a long time and the subscriptions are going up. But this is the channel I can't monetize. It's turned into a nightmare. And I don't really know what to do about it. I don't know what to do about it because the idea was to swap over channels. It's not going to work. So I think I always wanted to have a second channel, but I think that second channel is going to have to be like my AI satire channel because that's what I'm trying to do is satire on there. Or that's where it's going anyway. So I think all the technical stuff I might have to start doing on that channel and bring the March stuff and all that, all the politics back on this channel because I don't know. I'm not doing anything at the moment, like I said, but it seems like my idea is failing. And yet the channel's growing, but the idea is failing, if that makes any sense. So I'm a bit like, yeah, I don't know what to do. So one of the ideas is that I just stop doing everything completely for a few months so I save up some serious money and come back with a bang and the equipment and everything else I need. That's one idea. All the other ideas, I tick over some stuff, do some videos I was doing anyway, and just don't spend out too much on like this deep fake stuff and that, and just calm some of that down a bit. But again, the reason I'm working so hard on that is because I want to make a cartoon that is political satire that hopefully will make money. So it's really difficult to know what to do. So I'm in this real stuck position at the moment. So part of the reason why I wanted to talk to the people that know me today was that if I do disappear, it's not that I've quit. It's not that I'm gone for good. It's that I would have. If that happens, it'd be because I'm employing a plan where I go cold turkey from the movement in order to raise cash, so that when I come back, I've got everything I need. That's one possible road I could take here. Um, what I can't do is what I'm doing at the moment, and that is everything mediocre. Everything I do is mediocre. There's potential in my deepfakes, especially the voices. They're getting very good, and I'm getting very good at doing them. But potential isn't the same as quality. So, and the other thing, even if I don't take the time off for that, there's research and practice that I need to get. So again, rather than releasing things as I'm going, like I've been trying to show you the process behind it, but perhaps I shouldn't. Perhaps I should just drill down, learn for a few months, and come back when I've learnt the trade completely, and then just produce the content. I don't know what to do. Um, it's not life and death decisions, I know, but to me it's important because I'm sick of being mediocre. When I used to be a fucking good live streamer for a start. So, I don't want to do this to be mediocre. I want to do this to be as good as I used to be, even if I change what I do. Like I say, even if that political satire channel becomes my main channel. Um, I like the idea of doing that. I've already made some clips that I haven't shown the movement because people would get upset. But I've already made some stuff that I've shown people privately that people found really, really funny. Because it's just, I'm just taking the piss out of everybody for fun, not for nastiness. But, and I think people would appreciate it. And then when I was doing a live stream one day, I did a Star Wars thing with Nick Tenconian, and it wasn't even finished. And a load of people said, "Oh my God, if you was to do this on your channel all the time, you'd have the most unique channel out of anybody." It was totally true. So, yeah, I don't know whether to just take some time off and get these things right up tight, or keep doing it as I'm going along. I don't know, but yeah, I suppose. See, this is really not one for this channel, is it? This video, but this is whatever. If I understand if you haven't watched this far, but I think the main thing is that I want to. I realise I can't do everything, so I want to choose my paths, two paths I think for each channel, one for each channel, and I want to trace those paths to the point where I'm fucking good at what I do again, really good, and I don't want to work for anybody either. I'm done. I'm done. Unless something amazing happens or something that I couldn't predict today, I'm done working for other people, to have the piss taken out of me and to be treated like shit. So you can't. I'm working for me now, and if there's people that I like, I will always help them if they want help. I'll always um, push them if they need a push. I will always be helpful to other people, other creators in this movement. But in terms of working for anybody, doing stuff for anybody like that, no. Because what they do is they pull me away from my success or building success, use me, abuse me, and then by the time they finish doing it, my channel's gone back down the shitter. And do they give me a shout out? Do they, on their big platforms with millions of people that could see it, do they say, "Oh, Tom Fury, blah blah blah, did this, did that"? No, I'm on my own, and that's fine. Like I say, nobody owes me anything, but that goes two ways. If I'm on my own and I've been distracted by helping other people for so long that it's meant the detriment of my channel and my success, then getting my message